Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today we're looking at something really important, I think. Especially these days,
Uh-huh.
clean and safe water.
For sure.
You sent in this great article called
Yeah.
Advanced Water Treatment Technologies for Home and Small Business
Okay.
by Robert Kurek,
Right.
who is a quality engineer and water conservation expert. So clearly, with all the stuff we hear about water quality all across the U.S.,
Right?
you're thinking ahead.
Yeah,
And that's smart.
definitely. Huh.
So it's important.
Yeah. So what we really want to do today is unpack this article.
Okay.
See what's in it for you,
Yeah.
the listener.
Uh-huh.
And we want to explore the newest innovations in water treatment.
Okay.
See how this tech can, be like another shield
Yeah.
against those contaminants you always hear about.
Yeah.
And understand the differences, right?
Yeah.
Between all the different options out there.
Sure.
So you can make the best choice for you.
Uh-huh.
And of course,
We can't talk about water treatment without talking about conservation.
oh, absolutely. That's key.
Yeah.
It's really easy to kind of just take clean water for granted.
Right.
But, our understanding of water quality is always evolving.
Totally.
And it's clear now that keeping that quality up
Mhm.
requires everyone being proactive.
Yeah.
It's not just taste or convenience, right?
Right.
This is about the health and well-being
Totally.
of you and your family.
For sure. So
Yeah.
this is where Kurek's article comes in.
Okay.
He raises some really interesting points about the water situation here in the U.S. We're
Mhm.
dealing with old infrastructure,
Yeah.
pollution from industry,
Huh.
and even contaminants we are just now starting to learn about.
Yeah. It seems like every day there's something new that
Right.
we're finding.
And while those municipal treatment plants try their best, it's really becoming crucial to have that extra protection at home, right?
For sure. Think of it this way. The municipal treatment is like a general checkup.
Okay.
It catches the big issues. But the home treatment,
Mm-hmm.
that's like going to a specialist,
Okay.
targeting the specific concerns
Gotcha.
that might slip through.
I like that. That's a really good analogy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about those concerns, right? Like,
Sure.
imagine you
Yeah.
pour yourself a glass of water
Uh-huh.
and there's that chlorine smell,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Not very appealing.
Not at all.
So a good home system can get rid of that taste and odor, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then there's the stuff you can't even see or smell, like those heavy metals,
Right.
like lead, mercury, arsenic.
Well,
Those can leach in from old pipes or even runoff.
exactly. And we can't forget about the microorganisms either.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like bacteria and viruses,
Mm-hmm.
they can be a real problem,
Yeah.
especially for anyone with a weaker immune system.
Right.
Having a system that really targets those can give you some real peace of mind.
Absolutely. It's that extra layer of protection, knowing that the water you're using is
Yeah.
truly clean.
For sure. And I think we should also talk about the effects of hard water, too.
Okay.
That high mineral content can cause a lot of problems for your appliances.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It can corrode them and make them wear out faster.
Wow.
And then there's that scale buildup
Yeah.
on your faucets and shower heads.
Yeah, it's gross.
It's not just ugly. You can really mess with your water pressure
Right.
and efficiency.
Okay, so we've established that water treatment is important.
It is.
But how do we even begin to choose, right?
Yeah.
Kirk talks about some pretty cool technology.
He does.
And one that sticks out is reverse osmosis,
Yeah.
or RO.
Great.
This is often considered like the gold standard for water purification, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
RO uses this special membrane
Okay.
that's semi-permeable,
Uh-huh.
and it acts like a superfine filter. Think of it like a gatekeeper
Gotcha.
that only lets the tiny water molecules through
Okay.
and blocks the bigger contaminants.
So it's removing impurities.
Exactly. You can remove up to 99%,
Wow.
including heavy metals, nitrates, fluoride,
Mm-hmm.
even those little pathogens we talked about earlier.
So if I'm concerned about those heavy metals
Right.
or, microbes,
Yeah.
an RO system would be a good choice then.
It could be. Yeah. But you got to remember, not all RO systems are the same.
Right.
The quality of that membrane, the pre-filters, the whole design of the system,
Okay.
it all really affects how well it works.
So how do we know what to look for then?
Okay, so one of the most important things
Yeah.
is to look for that NSFA NSI certification.
Okay.
That means the system has been tested by a third party
Uh-huh.
to meet some pretty strict standards for contaminant removal,
Right.
material safety,
Gotcha.
and just how well it performs overall.
So it's kind of like a seal of approval.
It means you're getting what you paid for.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
So any other tips when picking out an RO system?
Yeah, so Keurig also emphasizes getting a good pre-filter.
Okay.
Think of it as like the first line of defense for your RO membrane.
Okay.
It protects it from larger particles and sediment.
That makes sense.
Can clog it up.
Uh-huh.
A good pre-filter will really extend the life of the membrane,
Right.
which means your system will work better for longer.
It's like a little bodyguard for your RO system.
That's a great way to put it.
So anything else?
He also mentions remineralization filters.
Okay.
So RO is great at taking out the bad stuff,
Yeah.
but it also takes out good minerals like calcium and magnesium.
Oh, okay.
Remineralization filters put those back in,
Okay.
which improves the taste,
Mm-hmm.
but also gives you back those healthy minerals.
So it's not just about clean water, it's about making sure it's good for you too.
Exactly. That's what's so cool about this field.
Yeah.
It's always changing. And we're learning so much more about how water quality impacts our health.
That's awesome.
But Keurig also talks about another technology that's really interesting.
Okay.
UV purification.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting.
Right.
Tell me about UV purification.
So UV purification uses ultraviolet light to get rid of those microorganisms we talked about.
Okay.
Bacteria and viruses.
Mm.
It's like a beam of UV light going through the water.
Uh-huh.
It messes with their DNA,
Okay.
stops them from multiplying.
So it's like zapping them.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly effective.
Wow.
UV systems can get rid of like 99.99% of the harmful stuff.
Okay.
Things like E. coli, cryptosporidium.
Which really mess with your stomach.
Gotcha. So that's a good level of protection.
It is, but like with RO, not all UV systems are created equal.
Right.
You really got to choose a good one.
Okay.
One of the key things is something called UV dose.
What's that?
It's the amount of UV light that's actually hitting the water.
And it needs to be enough to actually kill the pathogens.
So how do we know if a system is putting out enough?
Look for systems that have been certified. Organizations like NSFA, NSI,
Oh, there they are again.
that means they've been tested to make sure they're doing what they say they do.
So those certifications are like our guide
Exactly.
to help us figure out what's good and what's not.
They are, you want to make sure you're getting a system that's actually going to work.
Right, of course.
And Keurig has a couple more tips to help your UV system work even better.
Okay, what are they?
Make sure you pre-filter the water before it gets to the UV lamp.
Why?
Sediment and other junk in the water can block the UV light.
So it can't do its job.
Right. So you want to clear a path for it.
Makes sense.
And he also recommends replacing the UV lamp every year.
Really? Even if it seems like it's working?
Even if it seems like it's working, the UV light gets weaker over time.
Okay.
Replacing it makes sure you're getting the most disinfection.
It's like changing a light bulb then.
Yeah, even if it's still glowing, it's not as bright as it used to be.
Right, gotcha. Okay, so that's UV. So now what about, like, where in my house do I need this?
That's a good question, and it gets us to the difference between point of use and whole house filtration,
Okay.
which is really important when you're figuring out what you need.
So break it down for me.
Okay, so point of use, or POU,
Mm-hmm.
that's for a specific spot,
Right.
like a filter under your kitchen sink.
Okay.
So you're getting clean water right where you need it
Gotcha.
for drinking, cooking,
Right.
filling up a water bottle.
Okay.
It's perfect if you're mainly worried about the water you're actually drinking.
So it's like a mini water treatment plant just for your sink?
You got it, and then there's whole house filtration,
Uh,
also called podometry or POE,
okay.
that cleans all the water coming to your house.
Oh, wow.
It's installed on the main line.
Okay.
So every tap, shower, appliance
Gotcha.
is getting filtered water.
So POU is like a specialist and POE is like the general practitioner.
That's a great way to put it.
So which one's better?
It depends on your needs, really,
Right.
and your priorities.
Okay, so if I'm mainly concerned about my drinking water,
Yeah.
then POU is probably enough and cheaper.
Right. But if you want to tackle hard water everywhere
Yeah.
and protect your appliances, then POE is the way to go.
Okay, gotcha.
And Keurig has some more tips to help you decide.
Okay.
He says for POU systems, look for that NSFA NSI 53 certification.
Those certifications are like our best friend
They really are.
for figuring this all out.
That specific certification means the system's been tested to reduce the contaminants that can actually make you sick.
So it's all about protecting our health.
Right.
What about POE?
For those, he suggests getting a system with multiple stages of filtration
Okay.
so it can handle a wider range of contaminants like
Yeah.
sediment, chlorine, heavy metals, microorganisms, all that
Sounds
stuff.
like a multi-layered defense system.
Exactly. And that's what I love about having this knowledge.
Yeah.
By understanding all this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
the different systems, the certifications, what they target,
Mm-hmm.
you can make a really good choice to protect you and your family.
It's like taking control of your water.
It is. Knowledge is power.
I love it.
And in this case, it's the power to make sure you have clean, safe, healthy water for
Absolutely.
you and everyone you care about.
I love it. Okay, welcome back. So we've covered a lot so far from, the need for home water treatment, talking about all these great technologies like
Sure.
RO and UV and those certifications. Like those are key.
They're so important.
Yeah, but now,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about all the other stuff,
Uh-huh.
all this contaminants we got to watch out for, right?
For sure.
We talked about heavy metals and bacteria and hard water, but like, is there anything else in there
Yeah.
that we should be aware of?
Well, Couric does mention something called VOCs,
VOC.
volatile organic compound.
What are those?
They're chemicals that evaporate easily at room temperature,
Okay,
hence the name volatile.
I see.
And they can come from a lot of different places.
Like?
Industrial processes, gasoline spills,
Oh, wow.
even common household products,
Really? Like what?
like cleaning solutions, paint.
So it's not just about what's going on outside, it's what we're using inside too.
Exactly. And the problem with VOCs is that some of them have been linked to some health issues.
Mm-hmm.
Well, long-term exposure to certain VOCs
Mm-hmm.
has been associated with respiratory problems, liver damage, and even an increased risk of some cancers.
That's scary.
Yeah, it really makes you think about what you're using around the house.
Okay, so if we're worried about these VOCs, what can we do?
Well, RO and UV can remove some VOCs, but activated carbon filtration is really good for this.
Okay, activated carbon, like those water filter pitchers.
Exactly, or the filters that attach to your faucet.
Right. So how does that work?
Activated carbon is super porous.
Or?
Yeah, like a sponge with a ton of tiny holes.
Okay.
And all those holes create a huge surface area
Okay.
that basically acts like a magnet for VOCs.
So like trapping them.
Yeah, before they can get into your water.
Wow. So it's like a little VOC trap.
That's a good way to think about it, and it's great because it works on a lot of different VOCs.
Okay, so VOCs, check. What else do we need to be on the lookout for? I know Kurek also mentions pesticides, which sounds kind of alarming.
Yeah, pesticides are another thing that can get into our water.
Oh.
They're used a lot in agriculture, to protect crops.
Right.
But then the runoff from farms can carry them into rivers, lakes, even groundwater.
Oh, wow. So even if I don't live on a farm, I could still be exposed.
It's possible. And the worry with pesticides is that some of them can be harmful.
In what way?
Well, they can mess with hormones, affect the nervous system,
Okay.
and maybe even increase the risk of certain cancers.
So is there anything we can do about those?
Activated carbon can work for some pesticides. But for the tougher ones, reverse osmosis is usually the best bet.
Right. Because of that membrane.
Exactly. It can filter out even those tiny pesticide molecules.
So RO seems like a pretty good all-around solution then.
It is very effective, but it does have a couple of downsides.
Like what?
Well, it can be a little slower than other methods
How come?
because the water has to be pushed through that really fine membrane.
Yeah.
And it also makes wastewater.
Wastewater.
Yeah, because all that stuff that gets filtered out,
Right.
it has to go somewhere.
So that's something to consider.
Yeah, definitely something to keep in mind. Are there any other treatment methods that you're wondering about?
I think we've hit the major ones, right?
There are some more specialized ones like ion exchange
Okay.
that targets specific minerals
Yeah.
like calcium and magnesium
Mhm.
to deal with hard water.
Oh, okay.
And there's distillation too.
Distillation.
Yeah, you boil the water and collect the steam.
Right. Okay, so it seems like we have a lot of different options.
We do. And the trick is choosing the right one for the job.
How do we even know what's in our water in the first place?
That's where water testing comes in.
Water testing.
It's like a blood test for your water.
Okay.
It tells you exactly what's in there.
Okay, so how does that work?
Well, you can get these home water testing kits.
Okay.
You can find them online at the hardware store.
Uh-huh.
They usually involve collecting a water sample,
Okay.
and then you use these little test strips or reagents,
To test for.
different contaminants
Yeah.
like chlorine, hardness, pH,
Okay.
even some heavy metals.
So it's like a DIY water analysis?
Yeah, kind of. But if you want a really thorough analysis,
Yeah.
it's best to send a sample to a lab.
Okay, so what's the benefit of doing that?
Professional labs have much better equipment,
Mm-hmm.
and they can test for a lot more stuff.
Including?
Those VOCs and pesticides we were just talking about,
Okay.
they'll give you a detailed report.
With yeah.
the levels of every contaminant they find.
So it's like a personalized report card for your water.
Exactly. And this information is really important when you're choosing a treatment system.
Okay.
It helps you target the specific stuff that's in your water.
So you're not wasting money on something you don't need.
Exactly. You know you're getting a system that's actually going to work for you.
So it's all about being informed.
It is. Knowledge is power, remember.
Absolutely. Okay. So now we have our test results.
Yeah.
How do we pick the right system?
Well, that's where I think we should go back to those certifications.
They really are key, aren't they?
They are. They tell us what to trust.
It's like they're guiding us through this whole process.
That's a great way to put it. You know, when you see those NSFA, NSI, WQA Gold Seal, you can be sure that product has been tested.
Right.
And that it meets industry standards.
So those certifications are like our life raft.
In a way, yeah.
Helping us navigate this sea of water treatment options.
Exactly. They're like a compass pointing you in the right direction.
That's a good analogy, so you know. You don't have to be an expert to make a good choice.
You don't. Just get your water tested and understand those certifications.
And then you're good to go.
Then you can confidently choose a system that will actually work for you.
It's all about taking control of your water.
Exactly. And it's not just about what you do at home.
What do you mean?
You can talk to your community about water conservation.
Okay.
Support businesses that are trying to save water. Educate people about how important this resource is.
It's like we can all make a difference.
We can. Every little bit helps.
Right.
It's about working together to protect our water for the future.
Okay, welcome back. So we've really dug deep into the whole world of water treatment, right?
We have.
We talked about contaminants and the tech that can get rid of them. Learned about those certifications and why they matter so much.
Absolutely.
But now I want to shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
And talk about something just as important, which is, conservation. Like Robert Kuick said in his article, it's not just about cleaning water, but making sure we're using it wisely.
For sure. We can have the best treatment systems out there. But if we're just wasting water all the time, we're not really fixing the problem.
Yeah, it's like having this awesome kitchen, but letting all the food go bad.
Exactly.
So where do we even start? What can we do at home to save water?
Well, Keurig says one of the easiest things is just fixing leaks.
Leaks.
Leaks, yeah.
Oh, right.
You'd be surprised how much water can be wasted.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Even a tiny drip from a faucet or a running toilet.
Yeah, okay.
That can add up to gallons every day.
Wow, so like a hole in your pocket, just leaking money.
That's a good way to think about it.
So we got to become leak detectives.
Exactly.
Check all our faucets, toilets, pipes.
Everything. And don't forget about outside, too.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Sprinklers, hoses.
Okay.
Those can be a problem, too.
Like if a sprinkler head breaks.
Oh, yeah. Then you're talking about hundreds of gallons wasted.
In just one day.
Easily.
Okay, so leak patrol's on the list. What else?
Well, Keurig also talks about low-flow fixtures.
Low flow.
Yeah, for your shower heads and faucets.
Okay.
They use way less water.
Do they still work the same?
They do. You still get a good shower. You can still wash your hands.
Okay.
But you're using less water, so your bill will be lower, too.
So it's win-win.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
speaking of bathrooms,
Yeah.
toilets can be a big water waster.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Some of those older toilets
Uh-huh.
use like 6 gallons per flush.
That's a lot.
It is. But now they have these high-efficiency toilets.
Okay.
They use way less, like 1.28 gallons.
Wow, so that's a big difference.
Huge difference.
So it's like trading in an old gas guzzler for a hybrid car.
Yeah, exactly.
What about those flow regulators we talked about before?
Oh, yeah. Those can help in the bathroom, too.
How so?
You can put them on your faucets and shower heads.
Okay.
They'll reduce the flow without messing with the pressure.
So it's like they're secretly saving water for us.
Pretty much. But, there are other things you can do, too.
Like what?
Just simple stuff, like taking shorter showers.
Okay, yeah.
Turn the water off when you brush your teeth.
Right.
Only running the dishwasher when it's full.
So just being more mindful.
Exactly. And that mindful approach can go beyond your house, too.
What do you mean?
Well, you can talk to your neighbors.
Okay.
Support businesses that are trying to save water.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Teach people about why this is important.
It's like we can all inspire each other.
We can. It all adds up.
Oh, Kurek also talks about something called gray water recycling.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting stuff.
What is that?
So gray water is the water from your sinks, showers, laundry.
Okay.
And instead of just sending it down the drain, you can actually use it for other stuff. Like watering your plants or flushing the toilet.
So it's getting used twice.
Exactly. It reduces how much fresh water you need.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Can anyone do that?
It takes some planning. you need a separate plumbing system.
Right.
But if you're serious about saving water,
Yeah.
it's a great way to do it.
It feels good knowing we can reuse water like that.
It's all about being sustainable.
For sure. Well, I think we've learned a lot today.
We have.
We started by going deep into water treatment,
Mm,
talking about all those contaminants and the amazing tech that can get rid of them.
yeah, and those certifications that help us choose the right stuff,
They're like our guide.
they are
And then we talked about how to conserve water.
at home and in our communities.
Exactly. And how we can all make a difference.
Every little bit counts.
I love it. So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with one question.
Okay.
What will you do today to become a water champion?
That's a great question.
Let's all make a difference, one drop at a time.
I love it.